Hi, welcome back. And if it's your first time, welcome. Today, I'm going to be telling you the story about Tamar. Tamar, she was great. She was King David's daughter, so she was a princess. And David, he had different children by his different women. Tamar, however, she had a brother whose name was Absalom. They had the same mother and the same father. She also had another brother whose name was Amnon. Now, the Bible says that Amnon was obsessed with her to the point where he was ill. Yes, he was in love with his sister. He could have married her and it would be okay, seeing that they were from different mothers. However, I don't know, for whatever reason, he didn't want to ask for her hand in marriage. Now, Amnon, he had this very crafty friend whose name was Jonadab. Jonadab said to him, "Why are you carrying on like this? Why don't you just, ask your father, just pretend that you're ill and ask your father to send her over so that she can prepare something for you?" And so that's what Amnon did. He decided that, I'm going to ask my father to send her over. So his father came to visit him, considering he was ill. And he said, what could get me better? If you send my sister Tamar over and tell her to prepare my favorite meal. I want to watch her while she's preparing my favorite meal. And so David wasn't thinking anything. I mean, they're siblings, so why not? So he sent her over and she decided to prepare his favorite meal. And he was there watching. And when she was finished, she handed him the food and he would not eat it. And he said, you need to send everybody away. Send everybody out. I don't want anybody. And come into my bedroom and feed me in my bed. She again was so innocent. She decided that that's exactly what she was going to do. She went in and she started to feed him. And he grabbed her. Yes, he grabbed her. He was ready to grape her. And she said to him, "No, I'm not. No, why don't you just ask our father for my hand in marriage?" And he ignored her and he had his way, sorry. He had his way with her. And the moment he was done, he started to hate her. He hated her. And so he chased her away. And she cried and said, "No, don't do this to me. Nobody else will want me. You can't do this to me." But he didn't listen. He decided that he's going to chase her away. And she said, "This you chasing me away right now is worse than the act that you have just committed. I mean, why can't you just do the honorable thing?" And he told them, "Get her out, get her out." She went outside and, they wore their special garment as the king's children. So she was wearing her garment. She tore it and she put ashes on her head and she started to cry. Then she met up on her brother, Absalom. And Absalom said, "What's wrong?" And, she told him what happened. And Absalom said, "Don't worry about it. You don't worry about it." And so Absalom kept it quiet for 2 years. And he was there for 2 years. Until one day he decided that he was going to have a feast because they were now shearing sheep. They were going to have this feast. And he went up to King David, his dad, and said, "Dad, I want all my brothers and you. I want you to be here as well. I'm going to throw a feast for all of you." And David said, "I don't want to bother you that much. You go." And so Absalom said, "Why don't you let Amnon come?" And he said, "Okay, I'll send Amnon." And so when Amnon went, he started to have a good time and he was drunk. When he was drunk, Absalom told his men, "Kill him." And so they murdered Amnon. Now, news went back to David that all of his sons, Absalom had killed all of his sons. And so David started to weep and mourn and rip his clothes and carry on. But remember Jonadab? Jonadab was the one who had made up the plan to get Tamar to the house. And so he was the one who went to David and said, no, all of them, it's not all of them. It's just Amnon. And David, he was plotting it from the moment Amnon did this to Tamar 2 years ago. So it's just Amnon. Can you imagine? He was the one who crafted everything. And now he was going back to say all of that. Anyway, when David heard that, he was somewhat relieved. And so, news came, and there was this great crowd of his sons running back to safety to the palace, right? Amnon, on the other hand, he decided that he's going to run away. And so he ran away to live with his grandfather. Now, I always say I want to be objective, but sometimes after thinking about the story for a while, you have to kind of wonder, why is this in the Bible? What's God's purpose? For me, I think that the lesson that we are supposed to learn is that sometimes the things that we are obsessed with, the things we believe we can't live without, the moment we get those things, we might immediately start despising it. So we just have to be careful about the things that we're obsessed over. Because you saw right there in the Bible that the moment that Amnon had his way with Tamar, he despised her, he chased her away. The Bible said this great hatred for her just came over him, right? So we have to be careful about the things that we lust after, the things that we are obsessed with. So that's my take. What's yours? What lessons can we learn? What lesson did you learn from it? Please share it in the comment below. And this story is again taken from Samuel, the book of Samuel. It's one of my favorite books. You should be able to tell by now. Yes, verse 13. So you can go and read it and see what other lessons you can learn from it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next Sunday.